Okay, let me start off by saying that I do not hate AI. I use AI in my business, but if you think you can use AI to grow your podcast and it's gonna be like the secret sauce, let me tell you, it's not. Okay. So, first things first, if AI could help you grow your podcast, you'd have a successful podcast by now. Okay. So, let's set some ground rules here, because in order for you to understand if your podcast is on the right trajectory or not, we need to give it 3 months in order to understand if the strategies that we're implementing are working. And if you have been using AI for 3 months and nothing has changed, or they have changed like very slightly, or worse, like downloads have plummeted, like that something is not right there. Okay. So now that we know that piece of data, important data, let's go into why AI is not going to help you grow your podcast. Number one, and this is again coming from somebody who uses AI, okay? AI will gaslight you. AI will tell you, do this thing, do this title, do this whatever, and you're going to try it and it's not going to work. And it's going to tell you, no, it works because of this, because Apple likes that, and Spotify likes this, and you should do this thing on YouTube. When in reality, those things do not work. Now, I think the reason specifically why podcasts will not help you grow your podcast is because what AI does is it's a super researcher, right? And it's crawling the internet and like feeding you information basically. And the internet does not understand podcasting. That's really what it comes down to. So this is why when you ask AI something, it'll give you an answer, and the answer usually sucks, right? So, for example, I was talking to somebody recently about her podcast, and she was like, yeah, I love SEO, but my YouTube and my podcast are not growing, and this thing and that thing. And I took a look at her show and I'm like, this is not being SEO optimized. And she was like, well, I was using ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, and it was telling me it was AI optimized, but it was not. So this is the thing. This is the thing that you need to understand, is that you are paying money for this AI, and it could be like whatever latest and greatest AI, and you're like, give me an SEO optimized title for this episode, and the title might sound really good, and then you use it and it doesn't work. And this is because podcasting is an art and a science, and maybe the AI can help you with the sciencey part sometimes, but it cannot help you with the art part of it, because that needs human creativity, right? So number one right there, that's that. Like, AI just cannot think outside the box for you. It can just give you this very formulaic things, and they do not work. Number two, AI might actually give you some pretty good ideas on how to grow your podcast, and like things that you can do to improve your episodes and your offers and these things and monetization, right? But at the end of the day, if you're not executing on it, it doesn't matter. What it's actually going to happen is that you're going to get super overwhelmed with everything. You're going to have docs, you're going to have files full of pages and pages of things that you could do, and you are not actually doing anything with that. So that actually doesn't help you grow. So again, you can have all these ideas, but if you're not acting on them, that doesn't help you do anything. Number three, podcasting is still very misunderstood, like I said, and I kind of already sort of made this point. But when you start having a conversation with AI, right, and you can give it your data, you can give what your episode is about, and you can have this whole conversation with AI and like feed documents of things that you have done. At the end of the day, there are nuances that AI does not pick up on, and it'll get missed in the mess of AI. It'll like give you good reasoning as to why you should do something and not do another, and why perhaps my advice doesn't work. But when you put it into practice, like if you follow the AI strategy, like point by point, I can guarantee you're not going to see growth. And that is because it just doesn't know podcasting. And most people, even podcast coaches, so-called podcast coaches, do not understand how podcasting works. So listen, keep it simple. What makes a podcast grow are podcast SEO. And here's the thing. If you go and you ask AI right now about podcast SEO, it's going to give you some version of, it helps some, but it doesn't really help a lot. and it's not, Apple doesn't rank or whatever, whatever latest and greatest AI is going to tell you, it's going to tell you a version of podcast SEO doesn't work, which I have proven again and again. Like, this is the single most important thing that I do in my agency is SEO optimizing every single piece of content that our clients create. So whether it's a client working with me in the agency, or if we're working one-on-one inside of coaching, SEO optimizing is what helps people get more downloads, and that's the number one thing that AI will tell you that it doesn't really work. Number two, the titles that AI gives you do not work for AI. I'm sorry, do not work for podcasting, right? So you can try them and they might sound really good to you, but you use them and I guarantee you they do not work. Like, AI does not know how to write, no matter how much you train it, no matter how much information you give it, no matter how much, like templates you put it, like it does not work. Okay, so it just doesn't get it. Like, you still need your human brain to make sure that the titles work. The next thing is that it doesn't really know how to interpret data. And I tested this multiple times with my own clients. There was an instance with a client that she had to move hosts because they signed with a separate agency that was going to handle their ad management for them. But in order for that to happen, they needed to move their hosting. And once that happened, like, their podcast downloads got really weird because of what this host does. And I hate this host. I'm not going to go on a tangent right now. But the point is, I took data from where they were before, which is Podbean, which I really like Podbean, by the way. So I took data from Podbean, I took data from the new host, I took data from Apple, I took data from all over the place, and I fed it to AI, and it started giving me some really weird information, and I'm like, this does not make any sense. And then once you push back on it enough times, it's like, oh yeah, you're right about that. Thank you for calling me out on that. You're right to call me out on this, and this is why. So you have to be really careful with the information the AI is giving you. And honestly, here's the thing. It is very annoying that whatever chat, whatever, AI of choice you use, there's always a disclaimer, AI can make mistakes, right? And even though with that disclaimer, people are taking what AI says like it's gospel and they're applying it and it's not working. They're getting very frustrated. Not only that, the advice that actually works, that will get you results, people are not applying it because you prefer to listen to AI, but then you're listening to AI and it's not working, right? So the point is, use AI smart. So if you're going to use AI in any part of your podcasting journey, which I'm not telling you don't use it, but if you are going to use it, be smart about how you are using it. And I can tell you right now, do not use it for titles because it does not work. And titles are if you have the most amazing, life-changing, groundbreaking podcast episode, but your titles suck, nobody's going to listen to it. Apple does not know how to recommend you to other people because your titles suck. If somebody lands on your podcast some way, somehow, they're not going to want to listen to it because your titles suck. You're never going to get recommended. Apple is not going to organically recommend you to other people because, again, your titles suck. And your title is the most important way that Apple knows how to recommend your podcast out to other people because it's SEO optimized. Okay. So take what AI gives you like a grain of salt. Okay. You can use it, but in order for you to really understand what works, you just need to understand podcasting. Not a lot of people understand podcasting, okay? I do. I can say that because I have proven this in my own show and other people's shows, and I'm not saying this to brag, but the biggest piece of advice I have for you is go back and listen to my past episodes. Go back and listen to the whole 2025 series that I did. It's only 12 episodes because that's going to help you get ahead in your podcasting journey. And if you want help, that's what I'm here for. Come and work with me, whether you want us to take over your podcast and do everything for you, or you want to work with me inside of a coaching capacity. That's what I'm here for. If you want me to audit your podcast, I offer that as well. But the point is, you cannot just rely on AI to do things for you because it's going to gaslight you and it's going to make you frustrated. It's going to set you back on your podcasting journey, and it's going to start your growth. And remember, it takes 3 months for you to see growth in your podcast. So once you start applying a methodology in your podcast, in order for you to understand if the methodology is working, it's going to take you 3 months. Now, the follow-up part to this is this. I am an organic kind of girl, so I believe that the podcast should grow the podcast. I do not believe in this idea that you need a secondary platform to grow the primary platform. That's a waste of time. Okay. So I am not talking about, like, part of my growth strategy does not include go make reels, go make shorts, go make TikToks, right? Because that's not why you became a business owner. You became a business owner because you wanted flexibility, because you wanted to work from home, because you wanted to be your own boss, because you had an impact to make in the world, and you are somebody who doesn't fit in these boxes, right? So the point being, you did not become an entrepreneur so that you could, spend time creating a podcast, but then spend more time promoting a podcast via shorts and reels and TikToks. I'm not saying that those things don't work, but that is not the primary way that you grow your podcast. So keep that in mind when you're talking to AI and AI is giving strategies to grow your show. Your podcast should grow your podcast. And the way that your podcast is going to grow your podcast is by SEO optimizing. Okay. So I will leave resources for you linked down below. If you want to work with me, go ahead and work with me. That's going to be I've never had somebody work with me and not see growth. Okay. Like, that is a bold statement to make. Okay. So if you want to see growth in your podcast, come work with me, because that's how we make moves happen. Okay. Have discernment when you're working with AI, because it does not get it and will totally gaslight you.